What's up, world? Let's see what we got going on here. Oh no. Oh no. Go back. Lord of mercy. Let's see. I don't want that. I want that. And I want that. Yes. What's going on, world? I feel like it's been forever since I've been here. So I see this little pimple I got right here. I don't know what's going on with that. So, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Hey, shout out to everybody that decided to show up. This is kind of one of those impromptu, me jumping onto a live. I haven't been on here in a while. It's been a long time since I jumped up on this live. For those that don't know, I am I'm in the reserves. I'm in the Navy Reserves. So I was gone for a little bit doing like a mission and all that other good jazz. And so took some of that time and, kind of spent some time trying to get back into the whole swing of things. So I appreciate everybody jumping up on here. Hey, shout out to everybody that's jumping on here. If this is your first time to a live, my name is Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse if you look at my little thing that's going on down there. And I created a 7-day NCLEX course. So shout out to everybody who wanted me to make a course. It's been a long time coming for me to want to make a course. And right now it's in its pre-launch phase. So anybody that goes and buys the program right now will get it for a lifetime for $48. So $48 flat rate, like it's not going to change. At some point, it is going to go up once the full the full course is completed. Like I'm super excited about it. It makes me super happy that I'm able to, essentially tell you guys like what I went through. And if anybody that's been following me for a while, you guys already know what's up. So yeah, super happy about it. If you guys go down there and check out, if you guys go to my bio and you guys look at the 7-day NCLEX course, it'll take you to my website. And like I said, for right now, the website, the course is going for $48. You spend more on Starbucks in a week for the fact that if you're preparing to become a nurse or if you're in nursing school or anything like that, $48 seems like nothing. I spend more on Amazon. Ask me anything. I have no problem, telling you anything within reason because, everybody don't need to know your business like that. But make sure you guys share. I'm going to smash that like button right now. We had 500 likes, which is crazy. So I appreciate y'all. So, hey, I want to get to 10,000 likes by the end of this live stream. I'm going to be just sitting here. We're going to be chit-chatting it up. I want you guys to ask me any type of questions that you guys have, especially in regards to NCLEX, because, a lot of things have changed with the NCLEX, especially what happened after April 1st. We're now in the new generation NCLEX where they have added case studies if you feel like you haven't been prepared for that. As I go through my NCLEX course, we dive into that as well. But it's a long time coming, long process when it comes to making these courses and making these videos. One video I had, it was about an hour and a half long, but I was like, man, ain't nobody gonna sit here and listen to me for an hour and a half. So, was going through it, shrinking it down a lot just to make sure that, hey, everything is comprehensive and stuff like that. I'm going to start doing these lives a lot more. And I'm going to start doing some lessons. So, start talking about, delegation, lab values, legal stuff, going over pharmacology stuff, probably trying to do that maybe once or twice a week. And we'll start putting out more information in regards to that. So that way everybody can see it. And whatever it doesn't pop up on here will be popping up we'll put it on YouTube. So that way everybody can see it. And in case you missed the live, whatever you guys feel is pertinent. All right. So like I said, 7-day NCLEX course. We're in a pre-launch phase. We're in a pre-sale phase. So it's going for $48. Like I said, make sure you guys go over there to the link in my bio and you guys check it out. It'll take you directly there. All right. So how's everybody been? Hey, let me know where you guys are from. Let me know where you guys are from, where you guys are at in your nursing journey, where you guys are at in regards to NCLEX. Have you graduated yet? Have you taken the NCLEX yet? Have you failed? Were you unsuccessful? Anything like that. So talk to me. Let me know what's going on. For those that don't know my story, I failed the NCLEX multiple times, 3 times to be exact, and I passed on the 4th time. It was everything that you could remotely feel in regards to, being unsuccessful at that exam. I felt I didn't pass it the first time. And this was back in the day, way before COVID. And I think I can say COVID now, but this was back in the day, way before COVID. And, it was 75 to 265 questions. First time I took the exam, I got 75 questions. And if you don't know, if you get 75 questions or the minimum amount of questions, you either did really well or you did really bad. For me, the first time it was very, very bad. I got my breakdown. Everything told me that I was below passing. Usually I bring my breakdowns over here, but my breakdowns are kind of like over there in the drawer somewhere. So there's that. Second time I took the exam, I took it about 6 months. About 6 to 9 months afterwards, and that was just because of a snafu on me and not really realizing all the stuff that I needed to do. But I got to 265 questions, and let me tell you something right now. You want to talk about going the distance? That is going the distance all the way. And I know there's a lot of people that are out there that went the distance and still passed. I unfortunately, it was I think I was at question 200, and I had about 22 minutes left. And at that point, everything that I could start to think of in my head started to really mess with me. And then my anxiety started to get really it went through the roof. My vision kind of went pinpoint. So next thing you know, I'm just reading half questions and I'm just answering questions. I'm like, I got to get to 265. And then, hey, wouldn't you know it? I failed, right? At the second exam. And immediately after I failed, I was just like, you know what? I think I know what I need to do. I think I know what I need to do. And I think I know what I need to study. So as I was studying, I thought I knew what I was doing. I felt like I was more prepared. That's probably the most prepared I think I ever felt for the exam the third time I took it. And then when I took it the third time, I had 106 questions. Felt real good. Walked out of the test with my head held high. And I was just like, all right, cool. All the content, everything made sense to me. Then I failed. And at that point, I said the same thing that everybody else says is, man, I guess I don't need to be a nurse. Or man, I guess I'm not worthy enough to be a nurse because I can't pass this exam. So everything that you could think of or that you've said or may have said, even when you've taken a test in school and you failed, I've said that to myself because that was 5 years in the making for me because I was active duty. I was going to school. I still had a full-time job, was married at the time, had all kinds of, just life. A lot of things were just going on. Life, just that a lot of stuff that everybody has going on. And I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with myself. And then, I feel like the universe works in mysterious ways because I ended up saying to somebody, I was just like, hey, I'm studying for my NCLEX. Would you happen to know some really good material that I could use? And that individual was just very, very surprised. If you guys have gone to my YouTube or anything like that, I talk about my mentor. His name is Jason. He's a retired Army guy. He 15 years as an ICU nurse. Now he just does real estate, full time. But hey, the nurse in you will never leave you. It doesn't matter if you stop the occupation of being a nurse. So long story short, he pretty much, broke everything down, saw my breakdowns, told me I wasn't doing something right. He put me in the right path and gave me a lot of suggestions. But the one thing that I can always say is that it doesn't matter who they are. You can give them suggestions all you want. But then at some point, you can't walk the path for them. You can point them down there and tell them, hey, that's where the water is, but you can't make them walk down there, and you damn sure can't make them drink it. So obviously, I was doing things my way for the first 3. So I was like, you know what? Let me listen to somebody who is already there. And it wasn't an old crusty ass nurse at all that was in your nursing school or in your nursing program who hasn't done bedside in 15 years telling you need to get 75 questions, you needed this, you needed that, you don't want to take this, not being so negative and discouraging. Luckily for a lot of my students that I talk to now, their nursing programs or their nursing instructors are very, very empathetic and very, very, supportive of hey, this is what you don't want to feel. However, I want you guys to be prepared. And I actually love to hear those stories about, the instructors that they work with. So, he pointed me in the right direction. And once he pointed me in the right direction, I doubled down, put myself on a schedule, created study plans for myself. And then when I took the exam, the fourth time, it was during COVID. So if anybody was there during the COVID time frame to take their exam, they took the research questions out. It was only 60 questions. I think a max was 135 questions at that point. And I passed it in 60 questions. I was in and out in an hour. That was the most confident that I ever felt. And then when I got my results 2 days later, I passed. I was a nurse. So June 5th would have made me a nurse for 3 years. So I just hit my 3-year anniversary. Shout out to me. right? So, and for those that are going to be taking their NCLEX, that is going to be you. That's going to be you. There's one thing I don't want for y'all, for anybody that is taking this exam, if you failed it or anything like that, the one thing that I'm going to tell you is this test will not define you. It will not determine what type of nurse that you will be. I used to tell this story all the time, but when I was in nursing school, there was a nurse that we worked with, or there was a nurse who was doing turnover. He left, and then he put in the patient's chart that they had H4. If you don't know, H4, he put H, the number 4. We had to call him, figured out what the deal was. And he was like, yeah, H4, H in the Roman numeral 4. And we're like, H in the Roman numeral 4. And I was like, you mean HIV? And then he was just like, yeah, that's what I put, H4. Swear to you. I swear on my son right now that is what a nurse put inside of somebody's damn chart. So this exam does not define you. However, please don't ever, ever, ever be that person to put H and then the actual number 4 about somebody who has HIV. Because let me tell you something right now. If you was on my floor, I would roast you. I'd be like, I would probably call you H4 for the rest of the time. I'll call you H4 for the rest of the time that I would know you. You would probably have to leave your job or I'd get in trouble and have a conversation with HR. So, but anyways, like I said, this exam does not define you at all. It doesn't determine what type of nurse that you're going to be. No job will ever ask you, hey, how many times have you taken this exam? They don't care. They really, 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 really don't care. You can ask any nurse around here, right? However, I have seen some people that have worked as either LPNs or CNAs that are taking their exam, and you've seen people that like other nurses or other people that have just been like, you can't pass that exam. That exam's not hard. And then they start to ostracize those people and make them feel bad. Or nurse managers that do that trash too. So don't be those negative people because, you're trying to come into a field that, you want to actually make a difference. All right. So that's my little spiel in regards to that. I failed the exam. I passed the exam. No one ever knew or knows that I failed the exam unless I openly tell them. And then when I tell them, they're just like, are you serious? Like, you're such a great nurse. That's because the exam doesn't determine what type of nurse that you're going to be. Only you can do that. So if you want to walk around and be trashy in regards to being a nurse, then that's what you're going to be labeled as. But if you walk around, with your head held high and proud and ready to be a sponge and learn and absorb, then you're going to be all right. And at no point in time is anybody ever going to question you about that. All right. So shout out to everybody that jumped in here. I'm going to look at some of you guys' questions real quick, or some of you guys dropped some questions in here. Small. Okay. I don't know what that is. Hi. How do you say your name? Is it Sveti? Is it Sveti? Sveti? Flores? Hi. Welcome. Elena, what content did I get? What do you mean? Like, what content did I get, like, on the NCLEX when I took it? Or what do you mean? You got to really elaborate for me. I passed my first time, 75, done. Hey, shout out to you, Steve, because, hey, that's the goal. You want to get 75 questions. However, you prepare the entire 150. Now it's 150, 85 to 150 questions on the exam, right? So do you want to get the minimum questions? Absolutely. Do you prepare as if you're going to get all 150? Absolutely, right? I'll tell anybody, study 75. Now it's 85 to 150 questions a day. It used to be, study 75 and 150 because after 150 or 125, 150 questions, you're just like, your mind is just kind of just, but now with the exam being 150 questions, 6 of those questions can actually have anywhere from 6 to 8 answers in them now with what is that? What are those damn things called? The case studies. Right now that they have those things embedded in there, I could do one case study and one case study could give me 6 to 8 questions. Okay. So, that's actually really good. And that actually helps kind of helps curve, the exam. Now they can do partial credit, where back in the day when I took it, it was when you did select all and apply, it was no partial credit. It was all you got them all right or you got them all wrong. Doesn't matter. All right. So do you want to get do you want to get 85 questions? Yes. Do you prepare like you're going to get 150? Yes. That's how we do stuff around here. Live in New York. You can take as many times. Yeah, you can take it as many times as you want. So certain states, so it depends on your state. Like I know Florida, you can only take it up to 3 times before you have to do some type of remediation. Me, I live in Texas. You can take it up to 4 years after you graduate. So you could take it as many times as you want within a 4-year period. After that 4-year period, you have to essentially write to the board of nursing on like why you didn't pass or, so on and so forth. And then, whatever happens after that is up to them. It's their decision, right? Yeah, Steve, it was tough. And I'm assuming you're talking about like, just life. Like, I was active duty in the military. I was actually a teacher and instructor for surgical technology while I was in nursing school. So I was a student while I was an instructor teaching other students. So it was a great feeling. I love being a teacher. I love being an instructor. That's another reason why I started coaching, and that's another reason why I created this course. FYI, if you guys want to check out the course, it's in its pre-sale right now. Go look at the link in my bio. $48 for a lifetime. You get every update. You get everything that comes with it. So make sure you guys check that out. So yeah, it was definitely a tough point because I was in the middle of a move at one point. Was married, was going through some stuff with that. So, it happens. Like life happens to each and every one of us. But how do you persevere? How do you get through it? Right. So those are those things that you really got to think about and work through. I'm an RN in medical sales. Hey, shout out so Steve is an RN in medical sales. And that's another thing for all the nursing students or nursing graduates that are here is that you're not only stuck to bedside. Like the one thing that they teach you in school is, how to be a bedside nurse. Granted, that is the fundamentals of nursing in itself. However, you are not stuck to bedside. You don't only have to go to the ICU, the OR, med surg, oncology. You're not stuck to those areas. However, those areas will give you the fundamentals to put you in a different position, like medical sales or biotechnology, medical insurance. Data utilization, case management. They have so many more that you guys can jump into. So shout out to you, Steve, for doing RN sales or for doing medical sales. Or you could do medical devices. Like me, I'm an OR nurse and I work specifically a lot with the Da Vinci robots. And they are always looking for nurses. And I mean, always looking for nurses. Because we're the ones that use them every day. So, don't think that you could just be, you could be stuck in the hospital. You can damn near go anywhere. I know nurses that work on cruise ships. I know nurses that work for NASA. I know nurses that, want to go off and want to get their PhDs, or know nurses that just got there's one nurse that I follow. His name is the Paramurse. And you guys can check him out on Instagram and stuff like that. But he just graduated with his DMP for anesthesia. So now he's a nurse anesthetist doing his thing. So, the nursing realm is very, very wide. You're not just stuck to working in a hospital. So shout out to you. What made you want to pursue nursing, thinking about going back for a second bachelor's? I've been a medical field brat since I guess became an adult. I was a hospital corpsman. Well, I'm sorry. I'm still a hospital corpsman in the Navy. And medicine is just where I've been, and I've always wanted to do nursing because, it's always that feeling that you have to where you always want to take care of people. Like I'm a natural nurturer at heart. Like I care about people. I care about what people think. I care about people's emotions. So that could be a good thing and a bad thing. So, but nursing in general, I believe it is a great field. It does have a bad stigma right now. It has a good and a bad stigma. We went from being heroes to being ostracized. However, that all just determines on you and how you move. It doesn't define you, like I said. But I think nursing is great. It just depends on what area you decide to get into in regards to nursing. Like where you feel you can make a difference for yourself in nursing. So, like I said, I know nurses right now that do nothing but work from home and bring in $100,000 a year. Not saying that they don't work for it, but that's what they do. They sit at home with no pants on and a shirt. I have pants on, by the way. But they sit at home with no pants on, and a shirt, and they sit here and they type on their computer, doing their thing, right? So wherever you feel like you make the best impact for yourself, go there and do that. So that's what made me pursue nursing, is because I really, truly care about people, and I want to make a difference. I wanted to do ICU for a long time. I did ICU for a year, and then I went back to the operating room, and I've been in the operating room for a little over that, about a year and a half. And the operating room was a place that I enjoyed, but I went back to education because I've been an educator since 2015. I've taught in I taught in many different type of programs. And like I said, I was a surgical technology instructor for about 3.5 years. So education is what I love, and education is what I'm sticking with, and education is what I'm going to pursue here on out. So that's my impact for nursing, and that's my why. So I'm pretty sure that everybody has their why, and that's mine. So find out yours, and then it's not a bad gig to go. It's not a bad gig to get into. You gotta have some thick skin. You gotta be ready to learn, be a sponge, and all that good jazz. So that was a good question. I'm on my way to my nursing journey. Who was that? Savannah. Hey, shout out to you, Savannah. Hey, I just want to let you guys know the nursing journey is just like any other journey. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be those days where you want to quit. You're going to want to cry. You're going to be like, man, fuck this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do anything like that. But let me tell you something right now, that the nursing journey can and is a rewarding one if you know how to move through it. Just like anything. For the most part, I enjoyed my military career because I had some really great mentors that have pointed me in the right direction and have taught me how to move through it. So just like you and your nursing journey, Savannah, it's going to be different, but it's going to be one and the same, just like myself and every other nurse that came before you. So good luck to you on your nursing journey. I know that you're going to do great. Come to the lives, come talk to me, come talk to other people, all that good stuff. Who is that lovely? Hey, friend, how are you? I know it's been a while since I've been on here. I was out there, doing my Navy thing and kind of playing in the dirt, but kind of not because, I got to sit in an office for the majority of the time. So, all that good stuff. So, hey, friend, just paid for my ATT. Oh, okay, good. Hey, shout out to you for paying for that authorization to test, because usually when you get that authorization to test, you have to pay that $200 to Pearson VUE. Everybody goes through Pearson VUE. They're the ones that proctor the exam. They do all that jazz. So just be ready. Put it on your schedule. Hey, if you're still nervous and timid about scheduling your exam, write it down. Write it down and then schedule it and then hold yourself accountable. So if you know that, hey, I want to take my exam in the next 2 months, write it down. And then what you could do is you can do what I like to call reverse engineering. You go back and you actually can tailor your days all the way up until you take your NCLEX. So, hey, be true to yourself and stick to it, because that holds you accountable. I'm all about accountability. That's one of my big things. I'm actually making those videos that are going to be going up on the course talking about accountability. Make sure you're accountable for the things that you do and the things that you don't do. So only you can be responsible for if you do or do not pass. Just think about that. I'm accountable for why I didn't pass. Let me tell you something. There will be plenty of days where I say, hey, I'm going to study, and my ass will be on the couch taking a nap. Naps should be mandatory. Every job should have it. I'm just saying. Every job should have nap time. If kids can have nap time, why the hell can't I have nap times? You know what? It don't even matter. Anyways, so make sure that you hold yourself accountable. You pay for that ATT, schedule yourself, and then, hey, hit the ground running with your studying, okay? Savannah, you want to be a forensics nurse? Hey, as a matter of fact, I have a couple of friends that are actually in forensics. They're not nurses, but they're in forensics. So forensic nurses, if that's the way that you want to go, I recommend looking at nurse.org. They actually just had an article. They have articles. I mean, tons of articles. And I love their, who is that? Nurse Alice. I love that page. I love everything about it. And it's nurses. It's a nursing website ran by nurses. So, look into that, especially when it comes to forensic nursing, because they break it down. Start following forensic nurses on social media as well if you haven't, because they're the ones that give you the ins and outs and how to move, through that specialty as a nurse. So forensic nurses, shout out to you. I couldn't do it. So love to see black men in nursing. Hey, I'm just saying. Hey, speaking of being a man, specifically a black man that's a nurse, is on my floor. I was the only black nurse. I'm sorry, I was the only black male nurse. And, I started during the second wave of COVID. And when that happened, we ended up getting, those travel nurses that came through. And, I was one of like 2 or 3. But then at nights, I was the only guy at one point, and then I was the only black guy at nights. So needless to say that the minority of black men in nursing is it's there. It's very, very obvious, and it's very prevalent. So, I enjoy it. I don't take no shit from nobody. A lot of people some of these older nurses tried to come and test me. And I'm just like, hey, so I don't know who you're talking to, but I'm not your husband and I'm not your kid. So don't talk to me like that. And they're just like, Oh, my bad. So that's another thing you have to have tough skin. You have to have tough skin because, a lot of these nurses that have been doing nursing for 10 plus years, granted, they're like the mama bears of whatever that they're doing in regards to being on their floor. But at no point in time, don't let nobody disrespect you. We are all consistently learning every day on a daily basis. Doesn't matter what it's for. You're not going to know everything. And at some point, maybe you will know everything. But the reality is like, be a sponge. You're going to learn. You learn something new every day. I'm all about it. But at no point in time should nobody ever be disrespectful to anybody. So, and now I work in the operating room, and I was one of four black people, four black people that worked on there, and I was one of three men. One was a tech, and the other one was a nurse. Now one of the techs left, so now one of the techs left, and the other nurse left. So there's only two black people that work on that floor now, myself and another male black nurse. So, like I said, we're a minority. It kind of happens. So, and then of course, when we congregate together, they'll be like, look at them. And I'm just like, wow, really? But hey, birds of a feather, we flock together, right? So shout out to you, Alexis. I love being a nurse. I love doing education as a nurse. It's to me, this is where I belong, is in education. So I appreciate that. Who is this? Key. I just got my acceptance into an ADM program 1 hour ago. Hey, shout out to y'all. Hey, everybody give Key some love. Shout out to her for getting into your ADM program an hour ago. I'm telling you right now, if I could go back and do it all over again, I would have got my associate's degree because it would have taken me 2 years to get it. And then I would have hit the nursing ground running hardcore, because then you could just take an online course somewhere, from RN to BSN, and essentially that could be self-paced, and it all just depends on where you go. Like right now, I know Western Governors University is huge. It's a huge self-paced, course that you guys can go to. If you guys haven't looked up WGU, I suggest looking them up. I recommend it. One of the MPs that I work with, shout out to Jenna. If you guys ever get the chance, go and check out the emo nurse practitioner. She's one of the MPs. She's an acute care nurse practitioner. Her and I have been friends for a while. She's definitely somebody that I look up to when it comes to learning, because she taught me a lot. She's a really good friend too. She's kind of funny. She has this really cool cat. His name is Alfred. He ain't got no ears. Alfred, I think, is going to have his own page, but let me not divert. But anyways, a shout out to Key for getting accepted into your ADM program. Like I said, if I could have did it all over again, I would have did that, because I would have hit the ground running. I would have got into the nursing field a lot faster, and then I could have just very much, got my bachelor's degree, and then, worked on my master's and did all other stuff. So shout out to you. I know that you're going to do great. Make sure you come back. You let us know how nursing school is and all that good jazz. And hey, I'm just saying, you could very much get the 7-day NCLEX course right now for $48, and it'll never go away. So when it's time for you to take your NCLEX, you already got it. I'm just saying, it's there. It's in the pre-sale right now. $48. You get it for a lifetime. It'll never go away. Yes. Shout out to her. Congratulations. Great respect. I appreciate that. I don't know how to say your name. Is it not Nadu? Can I say Nadu? I'll say Nadu. I'll do that. I don't want to mess up your name, but if I said it right. Right, and most jobs pay for you to get your RN. That's true. A lot of jobs do pay for you to get your RN. They do the tuition reimbursement program or course or whatever it is. So, but you got to be careful. You got to be careful when you do tuition reimbursement, because if they pay for your tuition, they will, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you got to owe them back time. So if you guys haven't been paying attention, there's a lot of these programs. Like, I'll give you an example. HCA. Hey, if anybody knows anything about HCA, go ahead and leave it down in the comments right now. And as a matter of fact, tell me where you guys are from. Tell me where you're from. Tell me your nursing journey. Tell me where you are. If you take an NCLEX, hey, I want to know it all. Let me know down there in the bottom. So, so a lot of them, you have to owe them 2 years. So with HCA, that's something that they were doing. They were like, hey, come work for us. And, but you have to work for us for 2 years. If you read their contract, they'll flat out tell you, hey, we give you $10,000 worth of education. Newsflash, they do not. So, and just don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. And let me tell you something, for an example, Western Governors University right now, you could They only charge you twice a year. So you pay them every 6 months. You literally could go starting in and this is like if you're trying to get your master's or anything like that, you can do you could do your whole program in 6 months and pay $6,000. You see what I'm saying? They only charge you twice a year. So if you plan it out correctly, you can literally get your degree and all that good stuff essentially as fast as you want. Now, the nursing program, like if you're trying to get into like the RN program, they're a little bit different because they have to follow a set schedule. But once you get your master's, like one of the MPs I worked with, she got her master's. She got her master's in nursing, working as a nurse practitioner in 8-10 months, something like that. So it all depends on you. And Western Governor, they love it. Hey, and if I have any veterans in here, they love veterans. Just saying, that's why I'm going there. So just think about that. Well, this is my second go around because MedSurg took me out the game. Hey, so MedSurg, are you talking about MedSurg like in school? Yeah, MedSurg in school, it's a monster. It's a monster because you're learning a lot about not only how do the disease processes work, but like how do you take care of the patients in regards to that. So everything from cardiac, respiratory, endocrine, everything. MedSurg is a monster. I almost failed, not MedSurg, but I almost failed fundamentals is because I've been a corpsman for almost 16 years and we do the jobs of the nurses. So when I was in there, I was like, this is going to be easy. Nope. We needed a 75 to pass. I got a 78. So Kevin was just like not doing what Kevin was supposed to be doing. Kevin thought he knew everything. So sometimes we have to unlearn things so we can learn them the way that we're supposed to do. Don't be hard-headed like me. Don't do that. Don't do it to yourself. All right. So MedSurg can be a monster, most definitely. So this is why it's good for you to seek out the help, seek out whatever material that you need for yourself, and you just keep it pushing. I'm an ER tech in nursing school, and I've heard bad things about HCA. Hey, you ain't hear from me. Just saying.
Okay.
First of all, Siri, stop. I don't know what her problem is. Ain't nobody talking to her. She just decides she want to tell me hi. What's wrong with you? Anyways, so yeah. Alexis, just go ahead and just look at different stuff. I mean, it may be good for you, but just look at different stuff. An old classmate owes 3 years. Yep. Got my BSN and MSN. Hey, look at that. That's wild. Got your BSN and then your MSN in 7 months. Hey, look. Is it Urshan or Urshan? I'm not really good with names. So hopefully I said your name right, but look at that. Bachelor's degree, master's degree in 7 months. You can make it happen, right? So make it happen for yourself. Don't be afraid. Oh, Urshan? All right, cool. Got you. So make sure you guys are doing that. All right. Make sure you guys are doing that for yourself. Do the research, look stuff up. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of this. All right. I'm telling you right now, you could do some really amazing things with nursing. I have a friend, not a friend, but I have an acquaintance that I do know who is their sole purpose is that they wanted to open up nursing homes. Right. They wanted to open up nursing homes because of how bad the nursing home was that their grandmother was in. So they opened up a nursing home and it's ran by nurses. Everything about it is ran by nurses. So everything all the way up to the administrators, every position is ran by a nurse and they love it. Like the residents love it. All the nurses that are there, they get paid very, very well. A lot, and it's a lot. There's a waiting list for people to get in there. Right. So you got to realize where this nursing game will take you. I'm an LPN. How long for BSN? So is it rack? Hopefully I'm not butchering that. Anyways, so if you're an LPN and you're trying to become and you're trying to get your BSN, it all just depends on the program. So like the program that I went to, it was 18 months and I live in Texas. So, and I'm all about doing online stuff, if it's good enough for you and if it fits into your schedule. So like me, my school, I went to Texas A&M in Corpus Christi. I did their online program. They have 2 online programs. One's E-Line and the other one's called the E-Line Military. So if you're a corpsman, a med tech, or anything medical in the military or a medic in the Army, they actually have their own section for military veterans and for military, as well as for the E-Line. That's for, everyone else. and it's 18 months. It's an 18-month BSN program. You have Texas or University of Texas in Arlington, which is 15 months. So that's another way that you could do that first. Did you have your LPN first? I did not. I did not have my LPN first. If for those that are maybe military that don't know it, that you can actually challenge the board in California to get your LPN. I did not get my LPN first. I just did all of my prerequisites first, and then I got accepted into a bachelor's degree program and finished that program. Like I said, in 18 months. I started nursing school January of 17, graduated August of 18, and that's how I did it for myself. So. Great question. Hey, we got 45 people in here. Hey, we got 45 people up in here watching, and I got 3,000 likes. Hey, I want you to smash that like button right now. Stop playing games with me. I want 10,000 likes. 10K. Oh, now I only got 35. I guess people got mad. So, but anyways, like I said, hey, if you guys are just joining, my name is Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse. I'm a nurse coach. I created this course up here. 7-day NCLEX course. It's in its pre-sale phase right now for $48, and you get it for a lifetime. That means you get all the updates all the way until it's complete. I'm telling y'all right now, I have 150 videos that are going to be going up over the course of this course being finished. So make sure you guys are looking out for that. If you guys want to check it out, go to the link in my bio. It'll take you straight there. All right. So the next thing that I want to talk about is, what do you guys think about nursing right now in general? So there's a lot of things that are happening in nursing. A lot of the nurses are leaving the field. Like, what do you guys think that's happening, or what are you guys seeing in regards to wanting you guys to kind of, like, stay in nursing? Like, I follow a lot of stuff. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I drop a lot of stuff about travel nursing, the things like there was a nursing strike in Austin. Actually, there was a nursing strike in regards to Ascension Seton, which is a big hospital, a hospital system. And they were striking because they wanted better wages and they wanted better pay, safe nursing ratios, and better practices, because these hospitals, they make these organizations make billions of dollars, and they pay nurses, techs, everybody, they pay them crumbs, right? So, there's a lot of things that are happening in the nursing field right now. So my question to you guys is, like, what do you guys think about that? Especially those new nurses that are coming in here. Like, what type of nurse do you want to be? Like, what difference do you want to make within the nursing field? Like, hey, drop you guys' comments in there, as well as let me know where you guys are from, where you guys are at in your nursing journey, any questions that you guys have. If you're taking NCLEX, have you taken the NCLEX? Did you fail the NCLEX? I'll let your boy know what's going on. It's not what it used to be. You're right. Nursing is not what it used to be. That's for sure. Been a nurse for 8 years, med surg now. I work at home because hospitals have no regards for their workers. You are 100% correct, Urshan, because it's all about the bottom line. It's all about the bottom dollar. Brand new nurses. I'll give you an example. When I was a brand new nurse, they started me off at $25 an hour. I have no problem telling anybody about how much I got paid, because a big thing about pay, about being a nurse, how much money do you get paid? Everybody assumes that a nurse is going to make all this money because they hear a lot of stuff about travel nursing. But that ain't always the case. That ain't always it. Because when you work as a staff nurse, that is totally different, because they offer you all these things except enough money to live, right? So I was getting paid $25 an hour. Fast forward, not even a year later, the brand new nurses that are coming out of school, they're paying them $30 an hour. And you're just like, where? And then heaven forbid you go to HR and you try to tell somebody, hey, I want more wages. They're going to be like, no. Or you go to them and you tell them, hey, I got offered something somewhere different. That's why the hospitals have such a high turnover rate right now. A year to 2 years to 3 years. The average is anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half for people being in a hospital, for them leaving to either go travel, go to a clinic, or go somewhere where they're going to make more money. And just like you said, Urshan, like, you were 8 years, now you work from home, probably making 1,000 times more money than you were making. On top of, you ain't got to deal with patients. You ain't got to deal with crazy doctors. You ain't got to deal with, crazy management and all that other nonsense. And you essentially can work at home, and not wear pants. That should be a goal. You get to sit and wear a shirt and, and tight. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that people don't talk about. And me, I have no problem talking about them at all whatsoever. because that's the reality of it, is that these are the things that need to be talked about, or else we cannot go forward as an occupation in order to be better for the individuals that are eventually going to be replacing us. That's just the honest to God truth. So they're not paying nurses, so nurses do traveling. That's correct. A lot of the nurses leave so they can do travel. Travel nursing has its own issues, but that's nothing that you can't overcome, and that's definitely something that you can't learn. Because, a lot now you're essentially responsible for it. It's like going from being an employee where the employer does everything for you to being, an entrepreneur or a business owner. Like, you have to learn everything that goes into it. Like, you have to know how to do your taxes. You have to know how to negotiate contracts. You have to know, what your schedule is going to be like. You need to know, like like what tax bracket you're going to fall in regards to mileage. When it comes to travel nursing, like it's its own beast. But I know nurses that have been travel nurses. They've been travel nurses for, almost their entire career. Like, they did 2 or 3 years as a hospital. They became travel nurses. And they were like, I'm never going back. They were like, I'm never going back. And so there's a lot of other things that are happening right now in the travel world where they're saying, like, travel nurses aren't getting paid. I'm telling you right now, if you go over to my Instagram right now, I subscribe to so many travel nursing places that I get emails, like, if it's not every day, it's every week, about, like, hey, like, what they're looking for. Like, there was one where they were saying, hey, we'll pay you $5,000 a week. $5,000 a week? Hey, go ahead and let me see what that got going on, right? And they'll tell you the criteria, but nothing is ever set in stone. You can always, and I mean always, negotiate a contract, right? So, think about that. If that's the way that you eventually want to go to become a travel nurse, So, yeah, that's that in regards to switching from doing like staff nursing to do travel nursing. Me, I've decided to take the entrepreneurial route. Like, my whole thought process is just like, give to people and they'll give back to you times 10. So like me, I started doing coaching, like nurse coaching, literally probably like a month after I passed the NCLEX, because I always said I never want anyone to feel how I felt. And I said, I want to be able to reach millions to affect millions, because you never know the effect that you're going to have on people, especially if it's in a positive way. You have people that say, hey, I use UWorld. Hey, I use Kaplan. Hey, I use Mark Klimic. Hey, I used Simple Nursing. I used Remar. I used all these things. I want to be a household name. And by a household name, I mean I want to be a household name within the nursing realm, to where it'd be like, hey, what did you use for NCLEX? I use Kevin's, 7-day NCLEX course. Like, that's me. That's my goal, because my goal is I never want anyone to feel how I felt. I never want anybody to feel that if they fail something that they can't overcome it. I never want anybody to feel that this test is better than them, because in reality, this test isn't better than you. Only you can determine what type of nurse that you're going to be and how well you're going to push forward. All right. So that's my little spiel. That's just how it goes. So, hope everybody's doing well out there. It's a Thursday. This was just a very impromptu, us sitting here chit chatting. Make sure you guys follow me over on Instagram. Everything that I have, every social media handle is at the Boot Nurse. So make sure you guys go over there and you guys follow me. If you guys don't have Thread, which is the new competitor to Twitter, which is ran by Facebook or by Instagram, make sure you guys go over there and follow me. I just started it today. So it actually makes it just a little bit easier for me to communicate with people. Check out the YouTube channel. Like I said, I actually made a video on YouTube talking about how I failed the NCLEX. I showed my breakdowns. I showed all of that. So I definitely want to keep my community. Make sure you guys go over to my Facebook page. It's called The Boot Nation. You can't miss it, right? And so I'm trying to build the community of nursing within nursing, from pre-nursing students to nursing students, nursing graduates, and nurses, is because we are in this community together, right? And the only way that we'll be able to grow and make change is with one another, right? So that's the little things that I have going on. So I'm going to definitely start doing these TikTok lives more often. Once I figure out how to get it on this computer, I'm going to start, doing lectures. Like we're going to go through lectures. Like my very first lecture that I want to go through is delegation on NCLEX. Like I want to let you guys know, like, hey, what do you guys need to prepare for? How do you guys need to know who can do what? Like somebody said in here that they're an LPN, right? It's like, who can do what, right? Who can do what? Nurse, staffing issues. Like what is the responsibility of the RN? I got you, Savannah. I got you. So like what can the RN do, right? What can the LPN do? What can the UAP do? UAP stands for unlicensed assistive personnel. What can they eat? Well, I mean, we can all eat. We can all eat out here. I'm just saying. But what are all those things that we can all do? Who's responsible for what? Who can teach? Who can do sterile techniques? Who can do activities of daily living, right? What is considered stable versus unstable? Once a patient becomes unstable, who can take them? Like if they're stable, who can take them? What are the roles and responsibilities? All those things. So I think delegation is going to be the first one I go over. I'm going to be putting out a more set schedule. That way everybody can know, like, hey, this day we'll go over this. I'll even put out a poll and, all that stuff. RNs can do assessments, evaluates, plan, and implement. That's right. And they can teach. It's just like there's certain things that, the LPN and the UAP can't do. They can't teach, can't do any type of educating, but they can reinforce all different types of things. So I'll check out your pages. Thanks for the info. You're very welcome. I appreciate you being here, Urshan. But yeah, that's what I got going on. That's what we got going on. So I'm going to start dropping polls as well, as in if people don't give me suggestions on what they want to hear, then, I'll just kind of just take it down the line and, we'll sit on freaking TikTok and we'll talk about it. Like we'll go through it, any questions that you have, I usually try to keep my lectures, anywhere from like 15 to 30 minutes, depending on what it is. And, that way, we don't try to run over time and we can definitely go into a lot more stuff. Let's do neurological. We could do neurological stuff. Like we could talk about what? Like multiple sclerosis. We can talk about we can talk about cranial nerves. We can talk about cranial nerves and how they and how they're worded into like NCLEX style questions. We can talk about Parkinson's disease. We can talk about myasthenia gravis. Because remember, when you're preparing for all of my people that want to be nurses out there, the biggest thing is you want to do and that you want to know NCLEX style questions. Content. Like those are two that are key. And then the third one is, can you perform as a safe nurse? Like it's nurse safety, right? All about nurse safety, right? So like we could talk about that. Like we could talk about the respiratory system. I have a bunch of lectures on the respiratory system. Talk about chest tubes. We could talk about vents. We could talk about all kinds of stuff, but it is those critical type of questions that we start to talk about that will be super duper helpful when it comes to you understanding the critical thinking that the exam wants you to know. The exam is very gray. It is a very gray thing. It's like, which answer is more right? So think about that. Like I said, we could talk about anything. And so I think the first one it'll be delegation. And then we'll go through that. I'll try to set aside a time. I'm coming up with a schedule because I have to do this around my work schedule and family time and stuff like that. So your exam is next month. When next month? When next month is your exam? Next month, huh? August? Yeah, that is August. Yep, that's right. It's right around the corner. The 16th. Okay, so you got a little over a month. Okay, cool. All right, I got you. So what we'll do also, I do actually do NCLEX Coaching, which is also on my website. You can go to thebootnurse.com, which is also in my bio, and I also do nurse coaching. So, if you want to have a one-on-one with me in regards to like, hey, how can we navigate this? That is also on there as well. I have tons of options. This is just my way of giving back to everybody for everybody who has ever given to me. This is my way of paying it forward. I'll always do a TikTok. I'll always try to do an Instagram live. I'll always try to put videos up on YouTube. And if anybody missed this video, make sure you guys share it to them, as well as I'm going to be posting it on YouTube. So that way you guys can share it to whomever you want. I wonder if they have some type of coaching for SW. What's SW? Is that Anissa Anderson? What's SW? The only reason I asked about SW is because I have a lot of acronyms I have to remember, especially, social work. I personally don't know anyone that does coaching for social work. I'm assuming you mean for like the LMSW or LCSW type deal. Which question bank would I prefer? Right now, currently, I don't have one. So since I don't have one, I can't recommend that. But right now, I would say either if you have a good understanding of content, then just UWorld. But if you like to have a little bit more content with NCLEX style questions, I would say Archer. So that's just me. Social work, yes. I personally, Anissa, do not know. I have a friend who has her LCSW, but I personally do not know of any coaching or anything of the sort, or any one of the sort that have coaching for social work. But I guarantee you, since we're talking about it, the good old algorithm of social media is going to start to slap you in the face with it, because that's just what it does. So what I could do is I could reach out to my friend and I could ask her what maybe material that she has and what way that, helped guided her into getting her her LMSW and then everything else that she learned for her LCSW. I think right now she's in the Air Force and she does like military sexual trauma. I don't know if that's what she specializes in or anything like. I just know that's what she does. Social work ain't really my thing, even though nurses are kind of just, we do social. A nurse is all encompassing because, we don't do social work, but we do social work. So, we're not therapists, but we're therapists, right? So hey, everybody, a nurse is all encompassing. Yeah, for sure. I got you. Yeah, my fiance is an RN. Hey, shout out to your fiance for being an RN. And shout out, hey, everybody in here that has the term nurse, such as LPN, LVN, or RN. Shout out to y'all. I don't ever want nobody coming in here disrespecting anybody, especially if you're an RN coming in here disrespecting an LPN or LVN, or LVNs being disrespectful to RNs. I'm not about it. That's not the community that we're trying. That's not the community that we're trying to build with one another. So I'm telling you right now, I had an LVN that helped me one day when I was in ICU. It was by the grace of God. I'm so glad that person was there, because there was a lot going on, and I had 2 patients that were on vents. And for that third patient, I'm like, thank you, God. I appreciate you for being here. Right. So appreciate one another. That's the only way we're going to be able to keep this thing going in a positive direction. That's the only way we're going to be able to grow. We got to grow as nurses, either it be an LPN or RN. LPNs are nurses. It says it in the name. Licensed practical nurse, registered nurse, advanced practice registered nurse. Just saying. So make sure, hey, love each other. Love one another, man. God, you ain't got to like each other, and that's okay. The good Lord says to honor each other. Does that? You know what? I don't even know. I should probably read the Bible some more. But anyways, but yeah, Anissa, I got you. I will reach out to my friend and I'll see what she has. Send me a message on Instagram or send me a message on TikTok. And once I get that answer, I'll ask what she I'll send it right over to you. So if you guys are just now joining, hi, my name's Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse on pretty much every social media platform. Make sure you guys go over there and follow me on all of them, every single one. And right now, I created the 7-day NCLEX course. It's in its pre-sale. It's going for $48, y'all. $48. And you get it for a lifetime. So you guys get it all the way. You guys get every update for the lifetime of the course, which is a lifetime. So for $48, you spend more on Amazon and in Starbucks. I'm looking at y'all. I know that y'all go to Starbucks, or y'all go to Dutch Bros, or y'all go to wherever else, and y'all be spending all this money a week. Don't be playing games with me. I know what y'all be doing out there. All right. So, but anyway, like I said, the course right now is in its pre-launch stage and it's pre-sale, $48. You get it for a lifetime. Make sure you guys check the link in my bio to go over there and check that out. Okay. But yeah, okay, thank you. I will do that now. Okay, great, awesome. So, a couple of other things that are out there. Like I said, I like to follow nursing news. One thing that we just got finished talking about was the travel nursing. But then you also have nurses that are out there doing great things. Like you actually have to, like there was one nurse that's out here who did CPR, I think on her husband, like at a barbecue or something like that. If you guys are not following nurse.org or even checking out that website, you're doing yourself a disservice, because when I tell you, you want to learn everything about nursing news, you can learn everything about nursing news from there. It's ran by nurses. It's like daily nursing news, nurse education, so many resources. If you're looking about how to get into nursing school, if you're looking about how to pay for nursing school, which is a huge one, if you want to learn about, like what different things that you can do within the nursing field, if you want to learn about, anything, if you want to learn about nursing organizations, like there was somebody in here that said, who is it, Savannah, that said she wanted to learn about forensic nursing. Savannah, if your stuff is not over there, ma'am, I'm going to need for you to get over there and start looking that up. All right. Gone are the days of the excuses where you say, I don't know nothing. It ain't nothing a quick Google search won't give you. Let me trust and believe. Right. So let's check out, because like I said, a lot of the things that they have, like I follow them on Instagram. I follow her. I'm pretty sure Nurse Alice gets tired of me tagging her on stuff, but Nurse Alice is great. If you guys don't know anything about her, she's an MSNBC medical correspondent. So she's on there all the time. If she's not giving out positive energy, she has her own podcast now. So shout out to Nurse Alice. Hey, I'm trying to get on Nurse Alice podcast. So, I mean, if y'all want to blow her up and be like, hey, get Kevin, onto her podcast, that would be awesome. So, but yeah. So like right now it's talking about, like, if you go onto their website, they have right there blasted on the front page. It talks about, what is it? The best early Amazon Prime deals for nurses, and Amazon Prime is coming up. Hey, shout out! Speaking of Amazon Prime, what y'all get me for Prime Day? I'm just saying, I don't need no stethoscope. I don't need no Crocs. I don't need no the Janus? I don't need no figs. I don't need nothing like that. I'm just saying, if y'all want to be nice and y'all want to send me something, that's cool. But yeah, so nurse practitioner license suspended. Like a nurse entrepreneur creates resource for helping nursing students succeed. Like, look at that, and that was published yesterday, and she taught. Like, that's another thing. You could talk about nursing entrepreneurship, something that I'm very, very big on, because I've jumped into that space. You can do real estate. Like a lot of nurses I know now who are very, very creative, they sell their nurses on, oh my God, they sell their notes on Etsy for cheap. You can sell shirts. I know nurses that do nothing but sell apparel. Like, they come up with these nice little quotes or whatever. They put them on shirts. And then, all you nurses decide you guys want to wear them to school because, you're happy about being in nursing school and all that other good jazz, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Be proud. Be proud about the occupation that you were about to jump into, all right? Because you have no idea the difference that you may make if you decide to go that route, right? So, I mean, somebody created, resources for nurses. They have like the top nine student loan forgiveness programs for nurses. There's actually, now that I think about it, there's a program, I want to say it's the HSPS. So essentially it's an organization that will pay for you to go to school, but you're required to give them back time. And by time, they essentially will send you to wherever they need you. Nine times out of 10, they're in underserved areas, but they pay for you to go to school. So that, like I said, I don't ever tell anybody what to do. I'm just letting you know that, hey, you guys always have options. You always have options on where you can go, what you can do, how you can pay for school, and all that other good jazz, right? Let's see what else. Somebody else on here launched an online marketplace for nurses. And this was released on the 3rd of January. I'm sorry, the 3rd of July. That looks like something totally different. But anyways, this is on a Nurse Alice podcast. You guys can always go and check that out. Right here, so it talks about specialties for different jobs, locations where they pay you the most, like California, New York, Chicago, Houston, Philly, Miami, all those spots. Degrees, like if you want to, let's say you want to learn how to get your master's degree in, let's just say you wanted to be an acute care. Oh, I'm sorry, not acute care, but you want to be a nurse practitioner, but you want to specialize in radiology. There are nurses that do it. There are nurses that only work in X-ray. So just like any other nurse practitioner position, you can be a nurse practitioner, working with a radiologist, reading x-rays, doing all that good jazz. Like, you would be so surprised on the areas that you can go as a nurse. All right. Talks about, what's the difference between an MSN and a DNP? What's the difference between a DNP and a DNAP? What's the difference between a PhD and a DNP? Programs to help you go from RN to nurse practitioner. You name it. You name it. The categories are there. And the thing about it, all the articles are written by nurses. Nurses in some way, shape, or form, in some capacity. Sorry if y'all hear my son. He's a brat. Just saying. He's like 15 months. He's not really a brat. He's just being a crybaby because he's just at that age. So, but if y'all hear him, that's what's going on. But yeah. Look, this website to me is the holy grail. So every so often I come in here, and they even have other articles like within healthcare that you guys can look up, like how to be a pharmacy tech, medical billing and coding, which is a good one. If let's just say you have nothing to do with nursing or nothing to do with medicine right now, but you were just like, man, I just kind of want to get my feet in. Maybe I want to be a nurse assistant, or a certified medical assistant. I'm sorry. Like, you can go there. You can learn about how to become a hospital administrator if that's the goal that you want for yourself. There's so many things that you can explore within the medical career to mostly include nursing on this website, but it'll definitely help out for sure. So go check on him, please. Hold on. Go check on him, please. There must be a reason. No, he's in there with his mom. He's good. He ain't in there by himself. He ain't in there, trust and believe me. He stopped crying now, so he's good. He's good. I swear I would not just leave my son in there like that. That would be terrible. But he's with his mom, so he's all good to go. I appreciate your concern. But yeah, everything that you could possibly think of: CRNA programs, BSN programs, DNP programs, top ADN programs, top online LPN programs, which I get a lot of questions about. Like, hey, are there any online programs? Now you got to think about it, is that if this is out here, you really have to think to yourself, like, man, what other people know about it? So you got to think about the competition. Everybody right now wants to be a nurse. Like, I've seen a lot of schools that have like a 1 to 2 year backlog to where they can't even fill schools, or they can't even take them. Or you'll see people, what I like to call the pop-up schools. They're popping up and they're taking people's money, and then they're not falling under the Board of Nursing guidelines, and they lose accreditation, or they don't get accreditation. So they take, $100,000+ from you. And then you can't even, like, the school shuts down. That's a lot. That was happening a lot during COVID. And how do you think the hashtag fake nurse thing happened? Because people were going to school while they were still under accreditation, and they were losing their accreditation. Or, worse, people were, paying these people to get, 15, 20 grand to get a nursing license or a nursing degree so they can go and sit for the license. So, and if you guys don't know anything about Operation Nightingale, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So if you don't know anything about it, a quick Google search will tell you that. So hashtag not a fake nurse. I got a degree over here somewhere. Is it right here? Y'all can't see it. It don't even matter. So anyways, but yeah, I heard that. What do they do with those schools? So a lot of those schools, if you're under investigation, I mean, essentially, if you're under investigation in regards to stealing money like that and not having accreditation, like that's a federal law that they're breaking, because essentially, you're stealing people's money. I don't think it's embezzlement. I forgot exactly what the article said, but if they were one of those organizations where they're just like, hey, send us 20 grand and, we'll give you a degree and you can go and you can sit for the exam. That is 100% illegal, because, you haven't gone through the proper channels and you don't have the right credentials in order for you to sit for the exam or even work as a nurse. There were reports out there that there were nurses, people that became a nurse thinking that it was easy, and they had no idea what acetaminophen is. They had no idea. And so it's just like, yeah, let me give acetaminophen to somebody who has acute kidney injury, or if they have end-stage renal failure, and they're just like, yeah, I gave them acetaminophen, or they don't even know what it is, or they don't know, what are the side effects that happen to, to a person. Like, that was a real thing that happened, to where they're just, oh, I'm a nurse. All right, so I guess I just give them this acetaminophen, not knowing what it is, aka Tylenol, and, they're out there just, playing Russian roulette with people's lives. And that's not, and that's another thing too. It's just like me as a nurse, flat out would never want to work with somebody like that ever. I'm going to be like, wait a minute, you didn't do the prereqs? Wait, you didn't state to yourself that I wanted to be a nurse. You didn't go through the work of doing the prereqs. You didn't, you didn't apply to get into nursing school. You didn't go through nursing school. You didn't go through all the heartaches that I had to go through, just like everybody else did. And then you got a degree, but you didn't put in the work. You sat for the exam and you didn't put in the work. You passed the exam. How the hell that happened? Only God knows. And then you want to go into the field. You want to do all of that, or you don't do all of that. You want to reap the benefits, and then you want to go out there and take care of somebody? No. That wouldn't sit right with me. That wouldn't sit right with me for me to be, working on a floor with somebody who didn't go through the same struggles that I did. That's the one thing that us nurses we will all have in common. Because if I came up to somebody and if I was just like, man, let me tell you about what happened in nursing school, you'd be like, man, that same thing happened to me. But then if you're over here and you can't relate, you can't relate, but you're just like, yeah, I didn't have to do anything. Or nursing school was easy for me. You a lie. I don't know. Not one person I ever came in contact with that said that nursing school was didn't keep them up, certain nights, or they didn't want to quit. I ain't never not met one person that said that they didn't want to quit nursing school. Not once. So I'm just saying, people that want to go out here and try to scam the system and try to be a nurse, nah, they ain't really good for me. I can't pass my exit HESI. I failed twice. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I failed multiple HESIs. I didn't fail the exit HESI, but I did fail multiple HESIs. The one thing I'll say to you is that is it hardcore? Hopefully I'm pretty sure I butchered your name. The one thing I'll say is with the HESI. First of all, I hate HESI. Not a fan. So I'm right there with you. But the one thing I will say is that look at what you aren't doing well in those areas and improve upon them. I know that sounds very cliche, and I know that's probably not what you want to hear. But I'm telling you right now, you can overcome that exit HESI. You can overcome it. I promise you. So I would definitely look into those specific areas of where you aren't doing so well. I can't wait to hear what they did to them. I heard that Nightingale. Yeah. So there were some people, like, I can tell you right now, like, I think if I remember right, I ended up getting not a message, but what was it? Like, every month, the Board of Nursing in Texas, they send out a pamphlet, and it tells you everybody. It tells you their name, and it tells you what they were posing as, or if they were posing. It has a picture of them. Like, I'm telling you, the Board of Nursing will put them on blast. And they flat out said that, due to, Operation Nightingale, there are 128 nurses that have done X, Y, and Z. And the Board of Nursing has sent them essentially a cease and desist letter. Like, you better stop doing it, and you need to do X, Y, and Z. There's some nurses that are actually fighting it. And the nurses that are actually fighting it are the ones that went through a school, got all the way through it, but the school wasn't accredited. So essentially what they did is that they lumped them all together. And I want to say it came out to like 7,000 nurses over a span of 5 years from, I think it started in 2016 all the way to 2021. So, yeah, like you can actually Google Operation Nightingale, and there will be so many articles on it. There's actually some people that actually got lawyers, and they were just like, no, I'm fighting for this because I went through the whole program, but the program wasn't accredited. This is why I tell people, if it's a new school, don't you go to it. I don't care how tempting it is. If it's a new school and if they don't have their accreditation through the ACEN or the CCEN, like if they don't have accreditation, your ass better not go to it. You better find another one. Because if it's not accredited or if they're not currently working, here's the thing: it's just like you'll have some of them that are working on their accreditation right now. But the thing about it is, like, accreditation could take months, it could take years. So what if you're going to a school and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we lost our accreditation. It's only going to be a matter of time before that school has to shut down. And that's what was happening. There was one girl I was coaching. Her name was Brooke. And she went to a 2-year school that just popped up. And it took her a while to get through that program because she failed something. And when she failed, I asked her, I was like, hey, is your school accredited? And she was just like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. But she ended up passing. And I think what happened is that her school, like a year or two after that, went away. Yeah, it went away. So that's why I always say, I don't care how bad you want to be a nurse. The last thing that you would ever want to do is go to a school that is not accredited or working on their accreditation. And then one, they never get accredited, or two, they go through that accreditation and that's it. Or you go to a school that loses, they have their accreditation and then they just recently lost it. A lot of the ways, one of the biggest ways that they lose accreditation are their NCLEX scores. So if you guys ever, the one thing you want to know what their NCLEX pass rates are. So a lot of them, and I'm telling you right now, a lot of the NCLEX ratings per school are blown way out of proportion. Like they're far-fetched. Like they blow them up, saying like we have a 97% pass rate. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me go to the Texas Board of Nursing and let me see. Oh, within 3 months you had 117,000 people that took it. Wait a minute, only 50,000 passed. I'm not a mathematician. I don't math well, but that math ain't mathing. Just saying. So, I mean, and that's a statewide thing, right? But when you think about it, you're going to be like, wait a minute, only like 60, maybe like less, around 50 or whatever people, like, you're like, what? Make that make sense to me, right? So, you got to think about those things. You really, really, really got to think about those things in regards to when you want to go to school, if they're accredited, what their NCLEX passing rate is, do they provide any type of NCLEX review? Not only the NCLEX review, but is the NCLEX review good for you? Everyone learns differently, but a lot of the NCLEX reviews that they give you, they're not too in depth. They're just like, hey, come and look at this, this 3-day course that we have going on. It's really fast, which is another reason why I created the 7-day NCLEX courses, because I realized for myself when I was studying for the NCLEX and I needed to have all the things that were important, 7 days gave me more time. 7 days, I didn't feel like I had to cram, and I didn't feel like I was death by PowerPoint. I could take it step by step. I gave myself ample time to at least know where to begin and how to start and how to create something for myself that I could follow and study effectively for me. Not everybody's good at PowerPoints. However, PowerPoints are the standard, but not, do you like colorful stuff? Do you need videos? Do you need to have the PDF print it out and then go and take notes along while the lecture's going on? Is that how you learn? Are you a read write? Are you auditory? Are you kinesthetic? Most of us are kinesthetic learners. We learn by hand. Unfortunately, the NCLEX is not like that, right? But it's just like, that's why I created it, is because when you look at some of these scores, you're going to be like, where are y'all getting these scores from? Right? So think about those. The accreditation, the pass rates, the schools, like those are all the things you got to think about when you're trying to go to nursing school. So I know I kind of went off on a rant on there. I know you were talking about your HESI, but I just want to let you know that you can pass that HESI. I know I kind of went off on a rant. So start my ABSN program in August. Who is that? Tastes Like Glitter. I don't think glitter is edible, and it may not be good for you. But all right, girl, shout out to you for starting your associate's program. You're gonna crush it. I don't know why you said oops. I hope that oops is not in regards to your school not being accredited, because you might want to go back and look at that. So I wish someone can do this live session for is that NCLEX? What's NCLEX? Ain't nothing a quick Google search won't tell me. Let's see. Oh, for pharmacists. Oh, okay, I'm good. I'm glad it's not. When you said oops, I was just like, all right. Or are we talking about that, glitter's not edible? You know what? I don't even know. But I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. We good. We good. But who is that? Is that the sleep therapy? Is that says sleep therapy? Is that what that says? Now I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like Kaplan, it looks like Kaplan might do a review like that. Who said that? Sleep therapy. It looks like Kaplan has like a review, something like that. It's a computer adaptive test. And here's something else for you, is that if you don't see it and you wish somebody did it, you should create it. And you'd be so surprised on how many people will need it. If you're telling me that you need a NAPLEX review of some sort, create it. Because if you need it, imagine how many other people are going to need it. Think about that. So I just graduated with a BS, and my school just started the ABS. Okay. Would you get your a Bachelor's of Science? Okay. So you just roll right into their nursing program, I'm assuming. I'm assuming that's where you're going with that. So, but yeah, definitely check that out. Check out Kaplan. Like I just looked it up, and Kaplan was one of the first ones for NAPLEX on there. So if that's your route that you want to go for studying for that exam, do it. Okay, cool. That's what's up. Definitely prepare for it. Definitely prepare for nursing school. Nursing school is very, very different. Nursing programs, the nursing profession, to even get there through nursing school, it's one of the toughest programs. Like it's one of the toughest, programs to get into and toughest programs to get through. Everything is fast paced. Everything seems like it's fast paced. You feel like you're never going to be able to catch up. It's a lot of data dumping. It's like once you do one test, you're studying for the next one. But then guess what? When it comes to taking your exit or when it comes to you studying for the NCLEX, you got to remember everything that you learned over the past 2, 3, 4 years, depending on how long your program was. So just be ready for that. I know that I'm telling you to be ready. I don't think that you have a problem. But of course, if you got a problem, hey, I'm everybody's mentor out here. If anybody ever has a question about anything, you guys know where to find me. I'm going to be doing these lives more often. So if you guys have any questions at any point, I'm in here. I'm with it. I'm in here for y'all. The program is 16 months. Okay, cool. That's not too bad. That's not bad at all. Mostly because like some nursing schools, like if you try to go to UT, it's like a 4-year program. And I say UT in Austin, so it's a 4-year program, but they do everything in it, versus like if you tried to go to some other ones, do all the prerequisites at community colleges and then jump in. And that's what I did. That's why that's why just the nursing program itself was 1.5 years versus trying to go and do something else. Versus trying to do it all from the beginning and me being in a nursing program for 4 years. That wouldn't have worked out for me because I was active duty and, you run the risk of, deployments. You run the risk of extra duty and you not being able to get to school, extra duty and you may not be able to get the clinicals. These were all things that I was facing or PCS. And PCS means, you're transferring from one command or one base to another. Something else that I went through while I was in my 4th semester. I had 5 semesters of nursing school and I was in my 4th semester and I was in the middle of transferring. So that was a headache. And they were trying to send me to a ship. No. Because that would have screwed me over and I wouldn't have graduated on time. So I'm glad that I was very, very blessed to have been given an opportunity for me to take care of what I needed to take care of when I had the opportunity to do it. So I like to tell people like I am a product of, going to school while on active duty and making it work. Is it doable? Yes. Was it hard? You damn right it was. But is it doable? Yes. And not only did I do it, there were other people that followed suit and that actually got their degrees doing the same thing I did while I was on active duty. So the question is, can you go to school and work? Yes. Can you go to school, be on active duty? Yes. It's just how much do you want it? How bad do you want to be a nurse? I wanted to be a nurse real bad, and I'm glad I am a nurse. It's nice to tell people that I'm a nurse. So that's where you want to be in life, right? So definitely going to be fast-paced. You're right. It 100% is going to be fast-paced. You got to be ready for it. This is what I like to tell people, like, how much are you willing to temporarily offset yourself so you can set yourself up permanently, right? Are you willing to be like, nah, I can't go out. No, I can't do this. No, I can't do that. Are you willing to set that aside while you're in school so you can set yourself up for success later on? Yeah. Any smart person will say yes. Any smart person. So it's definitely going to be fast paced. Definitely prioritize your time and you're going to be all right. You already got a degree, so you already know you're going to be able to fly right through it. Hey, could you check a school for me to see if you recommend it? Sure. Is that Zane? Sure. What school you want me to look at? And as a matter of fact, I'll even go through it and I'll even show you guys where you can find the accreditation. First thing I'll tell you, Zane, is that you can always go to your state's Board of Nursing and you can see if your school is accredited because they have all the accredited schools on their website. If you go to the Texas Board of Nursing, it'll tell you all the schools that are accredited. It'll tell you all the schools that are under investigation. It'll tell you all the schools that are awaiting approval. It'll tell you all that. So go to your state's board of nursing. I don't know what the websites look like because of course every website is different. Go through there and look for their accreditation lists, and then it'll take you all the way through it. On Texas, it'll take you through every single one of them to include the universities, 2-year colleges, the technical colleges, so on and so forth. It'll give you all those. It'll give you all that info. So I hope that helps you. I'm glad to hear this. I start in August. All right, girl, that's what I'm talking about. You start school in August. Who is that? Is that Miss Lestina? Is it Lestina? I'm gonna say Lestina. If I get it wrong, you just let me know. But shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that's going to be starting school soon, because when you start school, everybody needs to know like where everybody you're going to start, and it's going to feel very overwhelming. They're going to start talking about, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to offset your life, you need to do this, you need to do that, right? So prepare yourself because it's going to come, and it's going to come very, very fast. Okay. But the one thing that will be here before you know it is when you take the NCLEX, right? Because the NCLEX you're going to hear, you're going to be like, what is that? So NCLEX, of course, if you don't know, it stands for the National Counsel Licensing Exam or Examination, and it's for registered nurses, and it is for licensed practical nurses or licensed vocational nurses. LPNs and LVNs are both the same. They're just different. They're named something different depending on what state that you're in. And that's exactly why I said I created the 7-day NCLEX course, which is in its pre-sale right now. And I'm letting you know that it's in the pre-sale, which means that it's not complete. But if you buy it right now, which is at $48, you get every update until the course is complete. You get even when the course is complete, if you still have it, if I update a video, you're going to get it. You're going to have the PDF forms of the files. You're going to have all that stuff. So if you're one of those people that need to print it out and take notes alongside of me while I'm going through and I'm telling you stuff. All right. And we talk about, it's super, super, super content heavy. And the reason why it's content heavy is because, one, you will forget so much. And two, content was a huge, huge issue because I forgot so much. I remember I watched a video on myasthenia gravis, and I learned more in 30 minutes off of myasthenia gravis from that video than I ever did when I was in nursing school. Ever. Right? So give it a chance. Check it out. Link is in my bio. It'll take you right to the page. And if you're ready, if you want to be prepared for NCLEX, that's the review to be checking out. All right. Let me see what you guys just put up in here. How do you know if it's accredited? Does it say something specific for any school? So it's only based off of for Zane, Listina, I'm glad I said your name right. But for Zane, for you specifically, when it comes to nursing schools, it's based off of your accreditation. The accreditation is based per state because every state has something different. So, for example, California, which is a huge one, they're not part of the NLC, which is the Nurses License or Licensure Compact. They're not part of that agreement. So everybody's state has something different for credentialing, right? And the only place that you're going to know if the credentialing is right is if you go to your board, if you go to that state's boards of nursing. So you can't go on California's Board of Nursing to look up anything regarding the Texas, is because their credentials are different. All right. So, and usually it says on there who is accredited, who has lost it, or who's in the process of getting it, so on and so forth. All right. It just takes a little bit of research on your part. My daughter will start in July. Hey, shout out to your daughter for starting nursing school in July. That's kind of, well, no, I guess that's not different because a lot of schools will start in the summer, the fall, and the spring. So shout out to her for starting nursing school. Just let her know to be prepared. Let her know she's going to have a lot of those crazy nights. Let her know she's going to have a lot of those times she's going to cry. Let her know she's going to want to quit. Don't let her quit. Don't let her quit. Just keep kicking her in the rear end and be like, nah, you got to keep going. If other people can do it, obviously you can do it. If it was easy, everybody would be able to do it. Trust and believe me. I've seen people in school. I've seen girls that have been in school with me who thought that they knew everything and they said it was easy, dropped out second semester. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a quick story. There was a girl specifically who she thought she was hot shit. We were trying to form a group, small group of, like trying to bounce ideas off of each other and try to study with one another. She flat out said, no, y'all, I figured it out. Y'all need to figure it out on your own. Nursing is a team sport. Nursing is a team sport. If you ever meet anybody who wants to do everything by themselves, or somebody that's considered a rogue nurse, you better run the opposite direction. Because I can tell you there's so many times I sat when I was in the ICU and I was staring at the damn monitor, and there was another 2 or 3 nurses that came in there, and we were all looking at it at the same time, looking for tombstones or looking for bunny ears, right? So those that are going to nursing school, what are tombstones and what are bunny ears, right? Or looking for PVCs. We were looking and we were feeding off of one another, right? So this person gets the second semester, everybody's doing well and she's not. And then she flat out tried to tell the instructors that we were cheating. And I was like, how? How are we cheating? They make it damn near impossible for us to cheat even if we wanted to. But it's for the fact that nobody was helping her. And so she wanted to try to sink a ship that didn't need to be sank. And so what happened? Got rid of her. And then she was just like, oh, well, I don't need this anyway. I already have a master's degree in public health. Then what you doing here? If you don't need it, what you doing here? Because you decided you want to be an individual? Nah. You can't come up in here and try to be an individual in a team sport. You can't do it. The greatest players or people around them have a team. It doesn't matter what the aspect is. So you come up here thinking that you're an individual, you're going to get treated like an individual. You're going to individually get your ass out of this program. And that's exactly what happened to her. Out of the damn program. Gone. Benito. All right. So definitely a team sport. Definitely. Right. So even as nurses, I'm telling you, when I'm in the hospital, I love seeing nursing students. I love them. At one point in time, because I work in the OR, I had 2 or 3 nursing students with me. I was like, give them to me. Because I want to make sure that they're in the right headspace and how to better prepare them. I asked them the question that other preceptors 9 times out of 10 don't even ask them. I'm just like, hey, so, what's your school like? How do your professors treat you? Are you in a small group? What do you feel like you don't know? Okay, so learn this because this is what the NCLEX wants you to know. Don't listen to a lot of the things that you see here because that's not how the exam's going to be. The exam's going to be very perfect world, even though they just threw out the scenarios, right? It's just like it's a perfect world exam. You have everybody, you have everything. You notice how I don't have everybody and everything up in here, right? So, team sport. I love it. That's why I said I love being a preceptor, right? Taking my NCLEX twice and I haven't passed. Who is that? Is that CB Mommy? Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you didn't pass your exam or that you were unsuccessful. But I'm gonna tell you the same thing that I tell everybody else is I failed my exam 3 times. On the 4th time, I finally figured it out, and it was something that I wasn't doing. So I'm asking you right now, what is it that you haven't done? Have you not grabbed your Have you grabbed your breakdowns, and have you gone through to see where you weren't successful at? Right? Do you have a mentor, preferably somebody who's probably pretty close to within the time that you graduated? Right? What did you not do when you studied? Did you take naps? You ain't gotta lie to me. You ain't gotta lie to kick it because I took naps. It's just like. Do you not understand content? Are you having trouble understanding questions? Like, what's your home environment like? Do you have a good support system? Are you accountable or are you not accountable? Those are the things you got to think about of why you didn't pass. Did the review that you bought or did the review that was provided to you in school, was that the way that you learned? Is that conducive for you? Those are the things that you got to think about. We all learn differently. We all math differently. If that makes sense. So, we all think things differently, right? So I challenge you to go back and to see for yourself what you didn't do right and then improve upon what you found for yourself, okay? Zane, could you check out CSU Los Angeles, please? Yep, give me 1 second and I'll check that out. It will say accredited. You're right. It will say on anything, it'll say accredited. There are direct entry MSN programs. That's what I wanted to do initially, but I got impatient. You're right. There are. So I have a friend, as a matter of fact, there was one specific girl. If you guys don't follow me on YouTube or Instagram or even here on TikTok, there was a girl I helped coach. Her name was Manasa, and she took the exam 7 times. And she was in a direct entry MSN program because she had already had a bachelor's in a different degree. So she had to go through all of the stuff for nursing. She didn't do well in her exam. She contacted me. I helped her get through it. And she just graduated. Like she got her license last year, July. And she just graduated with her master's degree. this past May in nurse leadership. Sometimes sometimes you don't have to be impatient. And remember, you don't have to go to that program. Trust me, nursing, listen. Miss Glitter, ma'am, respectfully, listen to me. Sometimes you just got to be patient. Ain't nothing wrong with the ain't nothing wrong with the associate's degree program. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But sometimes you just got to be patient. All right. But if that's the route that you want to go, I respect it. You do you. All right. It will say accredited. Yep. Zane. Yep. You're welcome. I'll look at that. I will. Thank you. True. How can I do well on my ATI exit exam? So your ATI exit exam usually shouldn't. So I personally have never taken ATI. I have never taken ATI at all. So I've had friends I've taken ATI. I went to school. When I went to school, everything was HESI. So the one thing I'll say to you is usually the exit exams have to do with like nurse leadership, nurse management, so on and so forth. Or nurse leadership, management of care, transition, so on and so forth. Management of care is the biggest section on the NCLEX at like 18%, right? So usually they're going to give you a syllabus of like, hey, this is what the exit exam has. And if they don't, it's going to be an accumulation of everything that you've learned in nursing school. I would say stick with those sections that are the hardest, or start with the sections that you aren't so familiar with. Like, so for me, when I was studying for my exit and when I studied for the NCLEX, it was pharmacology. Pharmacology is a monster. It is a monster of a section. When you have to learn about family name and suffixes and certain meds. So like what's a cardiac med? What are the respiratory meds? The gastric meds, neurological meds, like all of those medications, right? The cardiac meds are the ones that are probably the most, they weren't the most difficult, but a lot of them have the same side effects. So anyways, but I would definitely start with those sections that you have the most difficulty with, and then work your way down. Because like if you know diabetes like by heart, and if you can tell me the disease process, and if you could tell me how medications are, or if you could tell me how the disease process affects a patient, on top of how the effects of the diabetic medications like Lispro or regular insulin or glargine or those long acting, if you can tell me that, then you may not don't start with diabetes. Start with a section that you don't do so well in. All right, and then work your way down. I really, really hope that helps. User 41368, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about. You know who you're talking. You person, ma'am, sir, or whatever you identify as. So I hope that helps. Well, God bless you. Yes, ma'am. You are very welcome. Some nurses refuse to work with them on their clinicals. Nope, not I. I'm like, come here. Because remember, I used to be an instructor. I was an instructor for surgical technology. I taught at the schoolhouse, and then I was a clinical coordinator. So I was always at the hospital with my students. So I had no problem going into my student's room being like, hey, so tell me what we're doing. All right, cool. Hey, think about this. Don't pick up the bad habits that they're doing. Don't do that, because when you go and you sit for your certification exam, don't pick up the bad habits. I was like, learn the way to do it. When you get out of school and you have your own license and your own certification, you can do what you want. But on my watch, you will not do it wrong. And a lot of my students, I'm friends with a lot of my students, my former students now, and a lot of them respect me for that. And I carry that same thing over to when I became a preceptor as a nurse as well. So some nurses, yep. I feel ATI is hard. Med-surg is a lot. That's why some doesn't want them during clinicals. Well, that's their own. See, the thing that really bothers me is that nurses forget. A lot of nurses forget where they come from. They forgot that they used to be students. And the whole thing about nursing is it's a continuous teaching cycle. Because guess what? When that nurse decides he or she wants to go back to school, who's going to teach them? Some nurse practitioner, right? Or some nurse educator, or some case manager, or some public nurse, or some school nurse, or some community health nurse. Somebody's going to be teaching them. But you have the audacity to not want to teach people? or teach nurses that are coming through school, you got to be a fool. I've heard some nurses that'll try to do that, and I halt it right there. I'm just like, hey, they're students. Like, of course they're not going to know. Like, I had to ask a student one day. I was like, hey, can you go grab me some warm blankets? They're just like, yeah. They come back and they're just like, yeah, I don't know where the warm blankets are. And I have to think about it. I was like, how do you not know where the warm blankets are? But I realized that they're not here. They're not with me all the time. And so I had to give them a quick rundown of where stuff was. So, that's just how the cookie crumbles. That's just how it rolls. All right. So, yeah, that's why, like I said, that's why I do this. That's why I like to interact. That's why I became a preceptor. That's why I love education. That's why I like teaching. Another reason why I like getting on these lives. I need to start getting on Instagram Live, but sometimes I really don't have the turnout that I have, like I have here on TikTok. But I'm gonna still do it. But you guys have been great. I think at one point I think I had like 300 people up in here, which was wild. I don't think I've ever had that many people up in here. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. I'm going to give myself another shameless plug right now. 7-day NCLEX course is in its pre-sale. I'm going to keep talking about it until we hit those goals. I want to be able to help as many people as I possibly can. It's open to, that's another thing. It's open to the first 1,000 people. You get the first 1,000 people get it for $48. So if you're not going to use it for like a whole year, hey, at least for $48, you know that you still have it. And you know that you're going to get all the updates. All right. So I'll probably do another TikTok live tomorrow. That way I can essentially overnight. I'm going to come up with a schedule for myself. I think it'll probably be best for me to do that. That way I can try to capture as many of you. I think I started today around like a little after 5 o'clock. And I think that might be best for people. If anybody has a suggestion on when they want to start, I don't want to try to start at 7. I may miss people. I don't want to start at 3 because people may be at work. So I think in between 5 and 5:30 might be a good spot for me to do this. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign off right now. And I'm going to work on my delegation lecture. That way, when I get up on here, I'll try to do it on the computer. We can go through it. And then afterwards, we can go through stuff together. And then we can build this community together. So that's what I'm about. That's why I love being here. Thank you for being willing to talk to people here. Zane, 100%. 100%. At no point in time will I never not want to talk to nobody on here. I can guarantee you. So I wish there was a school who can take those students who went to the Nightingale operation. Is that an issue that you had? Did that happen to you? You don't got to tell me right here. If you want to tell me somewhere else, that's fine. If you want to talk about that. Now that makes sense. If you want to talk offline about that, we could talk about that. I don't know too much about the details, but we could definitely talk offline about that. I'm sorry to ask again, but can you check on that call? Yeah, you know what? Let me do that. So you said it's CSU. It was CSU Los Angeles, right? California State University in Los Angeles. So let's see. Accreditation. California State University. Yep, California State University. Cool. Let's see. California State University. I can't post a link up in here, obviously, because I'm doing this live right now, but it says all campuses of CSU are accredited by the WASC Senior College and University Commission. In addition, many programs have specialized accreditation that assure our students and the public that they meet the highest standard. That's what it says on their actual website. Now, if I go to, I'm going to go back and I'm going to put nursing accreditation. It's going to say, because the California State, Los Angeles, is it the Patricia A. Chin School of Nursing? Is that what it is? Zane? Yeah? Okay. That's what I thought. Let's see. Academics, program, institute, department. Let's go. Oh, accreditation. Let's see. It says the baccalaureate degree program, master degree program, and the postgraduate APRN certificate program in nursing and Cal, blah, 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 is accredited by the Commission of was it Collegiate nursing education. So yes, the entire program from bachelor's, master's, and the advanced practice for registered nurses program accredited. So that school is Gucci. This looks like a nice school. They wear black and white and yellow. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Y'all know I'm about it. So, all right. Yeah, all right. All right, yeah, you're very welcome. Anybody else, before I get off, anybody else have any questions before I get off? If you got any questions, drop them in the chat. Drop them in the chat. Any questions at all? Doesn't matter what school you go to for nursing because more schools are expensive. No, does not. No, it does. So the day and age of you going to a specific school for whatever reason does not matter. No job. And hear me. I want all 13 of you to hear me right now. No school cares what school you went to. As long as your school is accredited, you went through your program, you passed your NCLEX. No school's going to care. They're going to be like, oh, did you pass your NCLEX? Or no, they're going to be like, oh, do you have a license? That's it. When I applied for my job, they found me on the Texas Board of Nursing. Just like that. They found me. And then she was like, is this you? And I was like, yes, it is. And then she was just like, all right, great. She didn't care what school I went to. She didn't care about none of that. She didn't care about none of that. She just wanted to make sure that my license was viewed. And for people that don't know, is that once you get a nursing license, it is of public record. Like you are a servant of the people. You are a servant of people, of citizens, right? And so it being public record, the world needs to know that you are doing things safely. The world needs. So essentially, with it being public record, it states that you went through an accredited organization in order for the public to know that you have been trained properly. That's what that means. Okay, so I hope that helps. Awesome. Thank you for your time. Yeah, Zane, no problem. No problem at all. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate everybody coming through. If you guys have not checked out all those social medias that I got going on, make sure you guys, throw your boy a follow, share all the stuff I got going on. If you haven't, check out the 7-day NCLEX course, which is in pre-sale right now, only going for $48. Yeah. I appreciate everybody for coming to the live stream. I'll probably jump on here again tomorrow, just so I can just let everybody know like what we can come up with for a schedule. And but yeah, until then, I will see you guys, and I hope everybody has a wonderful Thursday. Keep pushing. Don't be afraid of anything in life. Just keep pushing, and I promise you that you'll get there as long as you keep pushing. You have a great day as well, and I will see you guys next time. Peace. I'm going to go check on my son because I'm pretty sure he's alive in there. So check you later.